What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Bass Theory. Today is another episode of Tackle Tuesdays featuring one of my favorite baits. I have a lot of different choices in it, and we'll take a look at those. If you're new, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, drop me a comment. Let me know what y'all think. But anyways, let's get into it and see what we're working with today. Alright guys, today's bait, chatterbait. Who doesn't love fishing with a chatterbait? If you're not using one, you should be. This thing gets shaken when you reel it, and we'll go through how you hook it up, where to fish it, stuff like that. But essentially you tie on here, this thing will just start back and forth. A lot of shine in the water. You do have some that are black that don't have as much shine, but they do have more movement. These are all except one are going to be the Z-Man original chatterbaits. So we'll get into the differences of those two and why I have the other one. But colors, you can put it with any trailer. The colors are endless, so. And we'll go through each one here in just a moment. But if you're, like I said, if you're not using a chatterbait, you should be. They ring the dinner bell for the fish. Morning, noon, evening fishing. Chatterbait is the way to go, especially if you're fishing around grass. You can fish over grass, through grass with it. Surprisingly, they really don't get hung up as much as you think they do. At least when I fish them. So. You can different techniques to get the skirt pulsating and moving, and different things we can try. So let's talk color. So this one here is probably my favorite color because it mimics a bluegill closer than any other color I've seen. This is, I believe the color is Rotten Pumpkin. So it has some brown on the back, then it goes into more of a, I wouldn't even call it a chartreuse, but a yellow gold. With some orange flake in it, and then it's got orange on the belly. And then I used to have, and I got to get some more. The trailer that I'm using here is the new 10,000 fish Yodo worm. So if you haven't seen my mystery tackle box opening with this, go ahead and check it out in the description below. But that is the trailer I'm using for it. So it's got the gold, yellow bottom, and then brown on the top. And gold, yellow bottom, brown on the top. It matches perfectly. But I used to have one that was actually a bluegill, so it had blue on it as well. I had like a blue stripe with an orange bottom and a yellow top. It looked excellent on this thing. And this is just a tickle tail. The other ones we will be looking at will have paddle tails. So we'll go into those. But that's my favorite color. White chartreuse, always a great summer color. Gives that shad appearance, especially if the fish on your lake or pond are chasing around some shad. Definitely a white chartreuse. Even just a regular white one would work as well too. So those two are two more of my go-tos. And then of course you have like black and blue for early in the morning, later at night. This is like I can't even remember the name of this color. But it's a very cool color. So white on the bottom, then yellow, and then like a green pumpkin, and then like a watermelon purple on the top. So a little bit of everything in there. Definitely good throwing like a crawl trailer on it, and you can hop these off the bottom, which we'll talk about. This is just a green pumpkin trailer. So there's nothing special about that. And this is my favorite one. This is the only one that's not Z-Man. This is well, actually I think Z-Man still makes them, but it's called a jackhammer. These range like $4 to $6 probably, depending. You can get like the Z-Man Freedoms, that might be a little bit more. These are 16 for one. So this one is like a watermelon shad, I would call it. I can't remember the name of the color. But it's got like a green pumpkin watermelon color on the back, and then it goes into like a salt and pepper there, then it's just white on the bottom. So the skirt is really, really nice on these. Compared to these, I mean, the skirts aren't bad either, but just this one feels different. But like I said, I believe Jackhammer's still made by Z-Man, but I could be wrong. But those are the colors. So let's get into when to fish them, how to fish them, where to fish them. All right, guys. So when do you use a chatterbait? You can really use a chatterbait any time of the day, but anytime you see shad or baby bluegills or anything running on the top of the water and just getting away from an area, the fish are chasing bait fish right there. So you put a chatterbait on and you throw it out there and you just get this thing swimming, and you can do a few different techniques. So catch and retrieve is probably the more popular one. So you throw this thing out there and you just steady reel it in. This will add more action to the back of the bait, so the blade will get to shaking and you'll be able to feel it, especially if you're using like a fluoro. You'll be able to feel it, and this will just start kicking all over the place. You can just do a steady retrieve. Or can you catch a fish like that? Yeah. I don't like necessarily just retrieving it. So what I'll do is I'll do like a start-stop, to where I'll skip this thing off the bottom, let it swim, let it sink. Skip it off the bottom, let it swim, let it sink. And that works. That technique works great in the springtime when bass are spawning, especially if you can do that right over their bed. And this thing stops on it, that bass is just going to come up and hit it every single time. So try that. Another technique is just erratic. It's the only really way to put it. There's no specific way to do it. But the more you get this thing flinching in the water, like I said, this is going to start going crazy. And you can just, shake your rod while you're reeling it, and this thing's just going to just kind of go crazy. The tail action on any of these. So paddle tails have really good action. We all know that. This tickle tail has great action. And then you can even have like a fluke on the back of it. So you can do like an erratic retrieve with some pauses in there, and it makes it look like the fish is struggling. That's an easy meal for that fish. So all right, guys, so that's how I would fish my chatterbaits. Now let's go over different trailers you can use, because there's 100 different trailers you can use. These are not the only ones. Just like the last time, these are what I use. So my go-to trailer for any swim jig, spinnerbait, anything is the Guggen Squad Saucy Swimmers. They come in two different sizes. You got a 3.3 and a 3.8. Both of these work fantastically. The length would depend on, honestly, the size of the hook is what does it for me. So, for instance, I got this jig here that's got a shorter hook. I got these chatterbaits that have a much longer hook. I'm not going to put a 3.8 on this. I'm probably not even going to put a 3.3 on it. But I will put one on that. And the OG chatterbaits come in all the same hook size pretty much. And it's universal. You can use, I have 3.3, 3.8, and a 3.75 that I use. And these are the Rage Swimmers from Strike King. Great swimmer. Great colors that it comes with as well. So, and then of course, like we mentioned earlier, the tickle tail. That's something new that I've been trying. I haven't actually thrown it on a chatterbait yet. So, following this video is going to be another video of me fishing with some chatterbait and seeing what we can do with it, kind of demonstrating what I'm talking about with the actions and retrieves and stuff like that. So we'll definitely go over that. Line that you can use is pretty simple. Pretty use anything. Pretty good. Pretty much use anything. Would be good. So I personally use a 12-pound fluoro, and then I think it's a 12 or 14-pound mono for these. Not much of a braid person, but I am going to give braid another go because apparently I was using too light of braid. I was using like a 12-pound braid when I should have been using like a 30-pound braid. So I'm going to give braid another go. If you have a braid that you prefer, drop it down in the comments for me so I know. Really don't know what to get. I think I used spider wire last time, which was pretty good. So I'm probably just going to go back with that. But anyways, guys, that's really it for chatterbaits. Any time of the day, they have a lot of weight to them, so you can get them deep if you're fishing those deep ponds. Early morning, you got just the color, and once you find a color that works for you, like this one for me, run with it. One thing I did forget is the difference between the regular Z-Man and the jackhammers. And all that is, well, there's a lot of things different. It's got a better head. It's more detailed on the, I can't even see that. Come on, focus. There we go. Oh, it just focused. But it's got little dots you can't really see. It's got eyes. The skirt's a little bit better quality. Hook's a little bit better quality. But the main difference, why I buy a jackhammer, or why I bought a jackhammer versus the Z-Man, is the eyelets. So the way this eyelet works is, if you're doing a stop and start retrieve, this takes a little bit to get going. When the eyelet is like this, where it doesn't have the two hole, so this one's got a hole where you tie onto, and then another eyelet there where it attaches. This one's all just like one piece, so it loops through the back there, and then it's just a little clamp, but this is all one piece, and you just tie onto the end there. And this, as soon as you stop, it stops. As soon as you start, it gets kicking again because there's less distance between line and lure. So that's what I like about this. I like being able to start and stop and not lose any action. So depending on how you're fishing, what you're doing, if I'm fishing more erratic, then I'm using this, because these skirts just flow a little bit different. But I don't need this blade to just be vibrating full speed. Anytime you reel it, it's gonna start going. So if I'm hopping this thing off the bottom and stuff like that, then I'm not gonna worry too much about that. But if I'm just straight retrieving it or doing a stop start, I'm going with the jackhammer every time. Alright guys, so as you can see, there are several different colors, several different trailers you can use, several different ways to fish them, but you got to find your own technique, what works best for you, what works best in the water that you're fishing in. So chatterbait is a must-have. Pick them up. They're really not that expensive. They're like $4 or $5, maybe $6. The jackhammers are a little bit expensive, but I do 100% recommend this. You can just feel the difference when I'm fishing with it. So we'll get some video following this, so be on the lookout of fishing with chatterbaits. But kind of mix them up and mess with the colors and see what works best for you and see what you like, and definitely get out there and get some fish on some chatterbait. Videos coming up, guys. We got the monster bass coming in tonight, so I'm gonna film that tonight. I'm gonna try to get it on tonight as well, tonight being Wednesday. So today's Wednesday. I've been waiting on this lunker hunt box for the longest time, but it's finally coming in. So this video will be posted today, and then monster bass tonight. Hopefully, I'm super excited about it. And then tomorrow morning, I'll probably go do a little bit of fishing with, of course, the stuff in the lunker hunt box, and then some chatterbaits. So we'll try to get on a few things for y'all guys and see what we can do. If you like the video, again, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought about the video, and we'll see you guys again on the next one.